Hello and welcome to the daily discussion with the V.O.L platform. My name is Ryan. I'm so glad to be your host. Today, we're going to be talking about how to pick the best scouts so you can get the hottest signals. We're going to cover a few projects that we've been talking about over the last few weeks. They launched over the last couple of days. We're going to go over those, and we're going to dive into, of course, the CrowdX calendar and see if we can find some spicy pre-sales coming up in the next few days. Now, if you're new to the call, like I said, my name is Ryan. I am your host. This is an interactive call, so be sure to go ahead and raise your hand. I'll unmute you or drop your questions in the comment section. I'll be glad to answer those. Now, whether you are a veteran in our community or you're brand spanking new, today I'm going to show you how best to utilize the V.O.L platform to help you find your next 2x, 5x, 10x, and beyond. Now, if you're completely new, you have no clue what V.O.L is, what the V.O.L platform is, and what I'm even talking about. That's okay. And this community is for everybody, okay? I invite you to go check out V.O.L.ai so you can learn about what the V.O.L platform is, why we're excited, and why we're getting the results that we are getting. Now, before we jump into all the details that I talked about earlier, let me say a little bit about myself. Like I said, my name is Ryan. My family and I, we live in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I've been a part of the V.O.L community since early October. And this has been a fantastic journey, fantastic ride and experience for myself and for those that I've had the opportunity to learn from, work with, and grow with. Now, one of the things I absolutely love most about the V.O.L platform is the crowdsourced intelligence aspect of it. Now, we have combined artificial intelligence with crowdsourced intelligence. And the CI, the crowdsourced intelligence, that part is just always, that's a part that just really excites me, okay? Because this platform, V.O.L platform, is a tool. It is a research tool to help you in the crypto space, to support you in finding projects that have a higher likelihood of doing well, and also to support you in finding projects or avoiding projects that have the possibility and potential of being a rug pull, a honeypot, or a scam, such as those things. Now, like I said, the crowdsourced intelligence model, I love it because it's a form of leverage. Leverage is the ability to do more with less. And if you've been tuning in the last couple of weeks, I may sound like a broken record, but that's okay. I'm going to keep saying it because when you realize the power of what this community is and the amount of leverage that's at play here, it will change your life. It has a potential to change your financial situation. Okay, so leverage is the ability to do more with less. If you're to go out and try to lift your car, that might be kind of hard to do because cars are heavy. But if you were to get a jack out, stick the jack underneath the car, use the jack, which is a tool, to jack up the car, which is a form of leverage, it allows you to lift up the car. V.O.L platform is no different. It is a tool. It is a tool to help you do more with less. Meaning, you don't have to spend countless hours researching all of these projects yourself. Okay? You don't have to spend countless time and energy researching these projects yourself. You can literally use a community. You can use the calendar. You can use the signal feature to find projects that you want to either invest in or that support you in narrowing your focus. There's literally hundreds upon hundreds of projects that are launching at any given time. And it's just not possible to get your eyes all over it. But imagine being a part of a community where there's hundreds and thousands of people all looking at different projects, sharing their thoughts and ideas. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what the V.O.L platform is all about. Just want to cover a couple announcements before we hop into some things. There's going to be a marketing update, an AMA, that's going to happen on Thursday. It's going to be at 11 Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, and 6 p.m. UTC time. Okay, it's coming up this Thursday. It's going to be in the main Telegram group, so be sure to jot your notes down to remind yourself to tune in for that, so you don't want to miss that. And there's some big announcements that happened last Wednesday. We had a massive AMA. If you haven't heard that, definitely head over to our main Telegram, look in the pinned messages, and listen to that. Major changes going on, but I want to highlight 3 of those. And a couple of them are going to be the topics that we're going to be discussing today. Number one cash rewards to be paid out to scouts regularly for loading quality projects to the Vetter calendar in BNB or BUSD. That's huge, guys. Like, that is huge, okay? Literally, by contributing to the platform, by providing great projects, being rewarded in BNB BUSD. Fantastic stuff. And if you've been following along the last handful of weeks, you know that by tuning into these daily discussions, not only does it help you be a better investor, it also helps you to be a better vetter, as well as a better scout. You know, the principles and ideas that we're sharing here, they pour into all the different avenues of this space, okay? So I said to say, if you've been taking notes, if you've been following along, what we're teaching can help you be a better scout, which then allows you to make and earn more money, okay? That's called a win-win. Signals. Tier 4 can follow an unlimited number of top-performing scouts and then now get alerts whenever they indicate they're getting into hot projects. Tier 3 can follow one top-performing scout to test out the feature. Okay, we're going to go into that today on, like I said, how to pick the best scouts to get the hottest signals. And last but not least, top-performing scouts will be spotlighted so you know who to follow with the hottest signals. Today, I'm going to give you the keys to the kingdom. Okay, I'm going to show you exactly what I would do to find the best scouts, and we're going to open up to the floor. I would like our call to end today with us having 6 different ways, okay, 6 different systems on how we could find the top scouts, because what I teach, I know for a fact that some people may not have the patience to do. I get it. It is what it is. But there may be an idea that you have, that you've tested, that you've found, or we can put our heads together to come up with, like I said, 6 different ideas that we can come up with on how to find the best scouts to find the hottest signals. So with that, let's go ahead and jump into, actually, hold on. Let me back that up one quick second. I want to share this right here first. I want to do a little celebration. And congratulations. So what if you notice, I like to talk about some projects throughout the week. I also like to do, projects while talking about during the pre-sale. I like to talk about it also post-launch, just as a means of like the volume of launches like we talked about. What were your notes and thoughts leading into the project? And what did you realize or discover as the project launched in a couple of days after? So we talked about this, Petaverse. We talked about this last week. We talked about it on our daily discussions. We talked about it on the Vetter Trading Club, and it launched and it's doing pretty good. We had the V.O.L, which is the Vetter audited highest low for the first 24 hours. You could have got a, not massive, but you could have got a 27% gain. Okay, not massive, a 27% gain. And then within the first couple of days, you could have gotten around, you could have had around at least an hour or 2 to sell at a 70% gain. That's a 1.7x. Now I know the crypto space is notorious for warping our minds and making you think that 70% is insignificant. But I tell you what, if you could step up to a launch and get 70% left and right, and you did that over time, that's going to make a significant difference in your life. Okay? It's going to be a big deal. So I would invite you to not dismiss these gains that are 1.4x, 1.5x, 1.6x, 1.7x, because those compounded over time beats a lot of other things. And if it's quality projects that you're looking at, I don't want to say it makes it risk-free, but I'm just saying that it's controlled risk. Okay, so just want to shout out, congratulate Captain Kurt and Metal Ride for tag teaming this project. Petaverse is doing good. They got some marketing launching, and I really enjoyed this team, the AMAs they were doing, and the professionalism that they had. Next project, I talked about this on Friday. Camel Coin, they had launched. They butchered their launch. They did a relaunch, and they airdropped tokens out to the members who bought at the launch. And Camel Coin's doing okay. It's not doing great, but for the vol, we got around 50%, 1.5x. Okay. Now again, You may be thinking right away, Ryan, a 1.5x, come on, like that's silly. That's a joke. That's insignificant. You know, you don't roll out of bed unless it's a 3x or more. Okay, fine. Go do your thing. I'm not here to judge. What I am saying though, is last week we called 2 projects that both did a 1.5x, and both projects you had over an hour to sell at a 1.5x. Exactly. Sleepy, my man. I'll take 1.5s all day long. That's what we're talking about, guys. Don't let the crypto space warp your mind in thinking that 1.5x is insignificant. Yeah, of course, compared to 5x, 10x, there's a big difference, okay? But if you can consistently pull out 1.5s all day long, I'll take it, okay? I'll take it. If you can feel comfortable getting in projects because you believe in it, because you're following the right scouts who provide these projects, 1.5s add up really quickly. Okay, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, that if you can start the day and then end the day with the same amount of money, okay, as what you started with, you're doing better than like 90% of the crypto traders out there. Okay, if you can end the day with the same amount of money you started it with, you're doing fantastic. That's the reality of the situation. Majority of people lose in this market. So 1.5s are a big deal. 1.5s add up. Do a compounding. Go find a compounding calculator and see what would happen if you got 1.5s every day, or 1.5s 2 days a week, or 1.5s 1 a week. Okay, go see what would happen. Go see what would happen if you just got a 1.5x once a month, what that would compound and what that would look like over time. It'd blow your mind. It would blow your mind. Okay, so Camel Coin did good. And they also have some utility coming along. Same thing with Petaverse. These are great projects. These are not just what am I trying to say? Oh, not just memes, not just hype. I mean, there's some hype to them, but I really like the teams behind these projects. I think there's some longevity behind them. So, you know, do your research. You know, there are dips happening with both of these. And so, you know, now could be, if you didn't get in the pre-sale, you know, now could be a time to get in if that fits your own strategy and your money management. Another project that we looked at was Eterna. There we go, Eterna. So this is something we've talked about for a couple of weeks now, and just curious. Go ahead and drop in the chat if you got a thumb, you know, give me a thumbs up or a wave if you got into Petaverse, if you got into Camel Coin, if you've been looking at Eterna. Okay, these are projects we've been talking about the last handful of weeks. And so you had plenty of time. You had plenty of time to research these. You had plenty of time to add these to your volume of launches worksheet that I sent out a couple of weeks ago to track it. Okay, so there's no excuses. Okay, if you guys have been plugging in, you know we've been covering this stuff. Eterna, they ended their pre-sale with 1,800 BNB raised. Okay, so they did a traditional pre-sale. And it looks like they're going to be launching, I believe, tomorrow. Okay, so go ahead. Like I said, this should already be on your list for volume of launches for projects that you're watching, you're testing, you're paper trading, you're watching how it goes. I did not get in this project. I just, quite frankly, I didn't have the time to research it. Let me back up. I didn't take the time to fully research it. It was on my radar. That's why I did bring it up. But yeah, happy to see that they were able to raise 1,800 BNB. Now that is with 946 contributors. So that's almost like 2 BNB per average, 2 BNB per contributor. So anyway, it's launching tomorrow, so you can check that out. But yeah, all these projects are what we've been talking about the last handful of weeks. And of course, they're on the calendar. Let's go back to the topic at hand. All right, drum roll. This is why you guys are here. This is it right here. How to pick the best scouts to get the hottest signals. Okay? How to pick the best scouts to get the hottest signals. Now, again, we want to end the conversation today, in the daily discussion today, with like 6 ideas that we can bring back to the community. 6 ideas that we come up with together. I'm going to give you a couple, and we're going to work together collectively to think of some more strategies on how to pick the scouts to get the hottest signals. Okay? Now, I briefly talked about this last Friday, but today we're doing a deep dive on it. Okay? Now, the route that I would take, and I know you guys know what's coming. You've been following along. You know exactly what's coming. The route I would take is this. V.O.L to determine K.S.P. Okay, who knows what V.O.L stands for? And who knows what K.S.P stands for? Go ahead and type it in the chat. V.O.L and K.S.P. Yes, Wanda. V.O.L stands for volume of launches. Why is volume of launches important? Because with the volume of launches, you're able to determine K.S.P, which is knowledge of system performance. Okay, what we're talking about are trading systems or launching systems. A system meaning what criteria are you looking for in these projects? Okay, what criteria are you looking for in these projects? Now, when you're on your own, you control all of that. Okay, so for example, if you're looking for a certain soft cap or hard cap, or if you're looking for docs team only, if you're only looking for projects that have a Certec audit, or you're only looking for fair launches or pre-sales or private sales, that is part of your system. That's part of your own system. Now, let me ask you a question. And this is, I need you to pay attention on this. This is where it gets serious, guys. If you blindly follow a scout, how do you know what system they're trading? The scout that you follow, what do you determine why you would even follow them? So for example, let's say you follow a scout because you saw that, we'll call him Rico. I don't think there's anybody that's named Rico in the community. I don't want to use a fake name and actually, call someone out. So I'll just say Rico. Rico was my Spanish name when I was in elementary school. Okay, so we'll use the example of Rico. If you follow Rico because you saw he was Scout of the Week last week because he had a project that did a 20x, okay, that's great. That's exciting. And you're thinking, hey, you know what? I want a 20x too. I mean, who doesn't, right? All the people taking 1.5s every day. But no, so you follow Rico because he's got a 20x. What you may not realize about Rico is, what if his system is 9 out of 10 projects dump, but 1 out of 10 are 20x and above? If you don't know that, how many losses are you willing to take if you keep following Rico? Does that make sense? If Rico is 1 out of 10 is a 20x, all the others are dumps. He's got a successful system. That means you must be willing to lose over and over and over and over and over again until he finds that next gem that 20x's and makes up for all the losses. That's why money management's important. Okay, we talked about this last week as well. Okay, someone give me a thumbs up if this makes sense. I'm not saying Rico has a bad system. I'm saying Rico has a system that works perfect for him. But if you don't know that, how many times are you willing to lose? You may think Rico sucks. You lost 5 in a row. Who's this Rico guy? Man, you're thinking, I'm not taking his signals anymore. And guess what? You stopped. Okay? You stopped just before Rico finds another gem. Okay? You stopped just before Rico finds another gem. All right, I'm getting some thumbs up. It makes sense. Yeah, we're going to call, Sleepy suggestion, we're calling Rico's Roughnecks. It's like, you get to be tough. I mean, seriously, like anybody, and the thing is, Rico's system works. Okay, Rico's system works for him. He understands his system. He's not phased at all. He's not phased at all by all the losses. And you know what's crazy? Rico likely will be a red or a beige scout. Okay? He will likely be a red or a beige scout. But since people don't understand his system, they may overlook him and not care and say, well, I just want to get a green or a purple. Okay, this is why I invite you to do a volume of launches for you to understand the KSP, the knowledge of system performance, for the scouts that you follow. And that way you recognize their trends, and that way you recognize their patterns. Okay? Same thing could happen with, someone who bats, 6 out of 10. And of those 6, they do a 2x. Of the others, they dump. Okay? Again, you get to stay in the game long enough. Because here's the reality situation. A coin flip is 50-50, right? A coin flip is 50-50. Okay? You could flip a coin 10 times in a row, and it may land on heads 10 times in a row. But the longer you do it, the more the numbers balance out. It's 50-50. With Rico's project of 1 out of 10, it may take 19 projects of losing until you find that winner. Okay? So in understanding Rico's system, you might financially not be in a position to trade his system. Okay, give me a thumbs up if that makes sense. Okay, you may not be able to afford to trade the system because you can't afford to lose 10 times, 15 times, 20 times in a row to finally hit that next 20x, and then another 20x, and then another 20x. Okay, that's how these numbers work. Okay, so it's so important, it's so crucial and imperative that you understand the system that you are trading. Okay, so let's go ahead and go over to the platform. Okay, anybody have any questions about what we're talking about so far? Okay, about the idea of a volume of launches, and in order to do a volume of launches, you're doing that to understand the KSP, which is you're understanding the system that the scout uses. Okay, the system that the scout uses. So throw out an idea of a way to pick a scout. You can either hop off on mute, raise your hand, I'll unmute you, or drop it in the comments. What is an idea of a way to find a scout that you want to follow? We can go to the calendar and we can say, do this. Okay. What type of scout do you want to follow? Okay. Unless, you can share, you don't have to share the right answer. This is not about finding the right answer. It's about ideas. Okay. Purple. Fantastic. Okay. So we go over here. And so this is the CrowdX calendar. And we can click rank and we go to purple right here. Okay. Now it's showing purple projects. This is great. Okay. Now we can click on any one of these. I have no idea who any of these belong to. So let's click it. Okay. We have K.S.P. Okay. Now the first thing we see when we look at this project is it is an IDO. Oh, actually, the first thing we see is K.S.P. He's purple and purple. Okay. Purple or purple. So, which means K.S.P. is a purple voter, a purple vetter, and a purple scout. And he has purple on all 4 time frames. Okay. This looks great. Okay. How do we know what K.S.P.'s system is? Anyone have any ideas on how we can figure out what K.S.P.'s system is? Okay, as you guys are thinking, Sleepy said, I'm trying to decide if I should follow you or Gordon Gecko. I need tier 4 so I can follow you both. I feel you, brother. Hey, full transparency, man. I will show you guys my profile and why I will say if you only have one vote, if you only have one person to follow, I would not recommend me being one of those. And I'll show you exactly why. Okay. At this point in time, on May 2nd, 2022, I would put up Gordon Gecko, I would put up Metaloride, I would put up LDN 100X above myself. Why? Because I know they're KSP. And right now, I'm working on some things to show you, how best should I say this? I have the data to support that they know their system And right now I'm finalizing mine and dialing it in, if that makes sense. Okay, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Okay. So Wanda says, I hear you, man. Tier 3, struggling to pick one person. So what I would suggest, so anybody who's tier 3, okay, so at tier 3, you just have one person to follow. At tier 4, you have unlimited follows. And so if you're at tier 3, you know, based on the criteria that we find today, I would suggest, you know, using that strategy. At the same time, what you can go on the calendar and what you can do is, you know, just use this as a daily habit. You can type someone's name in. Okay, so for example, if someone wanted to look at my projects, you could type in someone's name, and then that's how you can find their projects. Okay, so that way, if you don't have the capacity to follow more than one person, once a day, you could just look and say, okay, hey, look, you know, I see that, you know, there's these projects for Kat and Kurt, you know, they're happening on these days. Okay. So that's one way. It's manual, of course, but it allows you to make the most of it. And so you get to do a little bit of manual input to find those projects. Okay. But, you know, it still allows you to stay on top of what's going on. Okay. Let's see. What was that project we just looked at? I don't remember. Let's go back to it to see if we can find it again. Does anybody remember what project I clicked on just a minute ago? Let me see my history. Oh, not going to work. Okay. I was in May. Angelic? Was this it? I don't know if this is it or not, but this is the one we're on now. So, K.Vetter, absolutely. So, what's K.Vetter? So, how are we going to figure out what K.Vetter system is? Okay. So, yes. So, one is saying the volume of launches in K.S.P. Absolutely. So, what we can do, so since we picked K.Vetter, okay, so our criteria was we went to the calendar, we picked purples, and then we just randomly picked a purple, and now we ended up on K.Vetter. So what we're going to do is we're going to either go look at K.Vetter like this, go to his profile. If you click his name or his icon, it takes us to his profile. Okay. And then under his projects, okay, it's going to show the projects that have launched. Okay. This is going to take a little bit of time, but it will be worth it. Okay. It will be worth it. So one of the ways you can do this is, and I find this kind of clunky, is you can look up the projects this way. I personally like operating from the calendar. Okay. So what we would do is I would type in K.Vetter. And now all of K.Vetter's projects are coming up. Okay. Obviously this is May, so none of these projects have launched yet. So we just go back in time and we start looking at the projects. Okay. So we look at, you know, what was happening in April. Okay. This is a project that he scouted. Okay. It doesn't look like the project's launched. So let's go back and let's add one more criteria to this. So we're searching K.Vetter. Now we're going to click has launched. These are all the projects that have launched by K.Vetter. Okay. Now these are going to show scout projects and vetting projects. So this was a vetting. So this isn't as important. Okay. Here's Octagon. Okay. So this was Octagon. It was a pre-sell on Pink Cell. Okay. It was profitable over the 24-hour time frame and the 7-day time frame. Okay. So you can start building out your volume of launches. I know this is going to take work, guys, but hear me out on this. You would take this project, you would add it to your volume of launches, and you would make a note. It was a pre-sell, and it was profitable, the 24-hour time frame and the 7-day time frame. Okay, you make some notes. And you would want to dive deeper. You want to find out what were the actual gains. It'll take me just a minute to pull this up. Just bear with me. Project audits. Okay, Octagon. That's in April. And my computer, I have a lot of tabs open right now. It's struggling. Let's see, where is Octagon? Octagon launched on let's see. On the 5th. Okay, so Octagon's pre-sale price is right here. I'm gonna go to the hour. Okay, draw a horizontal line, paste in the pre-sale price. Okay, that was a pre-sale price right there. Okay, so if you got in the pre-sale, so from the pre-sale price, there's 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour, 5 hour, the high, okay, the all-time high was a 90% gain. Okay, the V.O.L, which stands for the Vetter Audited Highest Low. It's way back when. Okay, in the interest of time, I'm just going to keep it on the 1 hour, and just you'll understand why. So right here, the V.O.L will be right around here. Okay, which means someone had over an hour to sell at an 80% gain. Okay, and you would document this. You would say, okay, K.Vetter got a 1.8x gain within the first 4 hours, 5 hours of launch. I could have sold at a 1.8x for over an hour. Okay, and once you start doing a volume of these, you'll start recognizing patterns. So there was Octagon. Here's Flash Miner. Flash Miner was profitable. Okay, great. You would do the same thing with Flash Miner. What was the gain for Flash Miner? I'll just look it up instead of searching. I have the answer right here. Let's see. The gains for Flash Miner, it had a pretty big gain of 1,600% for the high, and about a 8x, 9x for the V.O.L. Okay, let's look at another one. Okay, so here's a project that didn't do well. Okay, no big deal. Binance, it was a pre-sale. Okay, so now we have 3 projects. We have one project that did a 1.8x. We have another project that did a 9x. We have another project that didn't do well. Okay, great. And you can literally map out what these projects did. Okay, here's a project that did well on all time frames. Now, one thing to consider, and you want to make note of this was an IDO. Okay, the only way you're going to be able to get in an IDO is if you hold tokens on that launch pad. Okay, so just be mindful of that. Okay, people's color-coded rankings are based on all projects they post, which includes IDOs, and not everyone can get involved in an IDO. Does that make sense? Okay, so we go to the next one. Hawksite, IDO. Sins World, IDO. Meta Shooter, IDO. Bastion Protocol, IDO. Okay, nothing else is launched yet, okay? So Exactly. So Sleepy's paying attention. Sleepy has noticed K.S.P usually does gaming projects. Okay. So of the handful of projects we pulled up today, 3 were non-IDOs and the rest were all IDOs. Does that mean that it doesn't mean anything? It just means that when you follow K.S.P, you get to make sure, 1, it's a project you can get involved with. Okay. And 2, you need to have enough non-IDOs to develop K.S.P. Okay, if that makes sense, give me a thumbs up. You cannot factor IDOs in unless you yourself are going to trade IDOs. Okay, they cannot be a part of your K.S.P because it doesn't matter. Like you couldn't get involved with that. Okay, so you get to keep finding projects to develop. So you get to find 10 non-IDO projects, 20 non-IDO projects, 30 non-IDO projects for you to have a good look to see what K.S.P.'s system is. Okay? If you want to follow K.S.P. blindly, you must know what his system is to see if the money works out and the system works out. Okay? That's only if you want to make money. I mean, if you don't want to make money, you can just follow blindly, and that's okay. Okay? But again, we talked about we're professionals here. Okay? We're professionals. Now, does anyone know of scouts who don't post IDOs? Can someone name a scout who doesn't regularly post IDOs? Brink, yeah. Let's take a look at Brink. Now, Brink also does, let's see, scouted only. So Brink, so here's the thing about Brink. Brink is super dialed in, okay? For him to put his name on something, it's gotta be gold, okay? He is super in-depth. He is super on the research side. He wants to make sure that everything is good to go before he brings it up, okay? So if Brink has looked at something, you know that it has been looked at thoroughly, okay? So with Baby Cake, this project right here, the project we looked at, it was not profitable over 7 days, but it was profitable over 24 hours. The all-time high was a 3.5x, okay? But the V.O.L was a 9% gain, okay? Now, you may just break even with taxes, okay? Being the first 24 hours, taxes could be higher. So on this project, you would document that. You would say, okay, this is what this is. Okay, great. Okay, so we go over and we find another project from Brink. Okay. So this project did good on 24 hours. And let's see. And it did good on 7 days. Okay, did not do good on 30 days. Okay, so let's see if we can find it over here. What's the date of this? The date is on the 17th of March. Let me pull up the data here. Okay, so here's Brink's results for Spur. We got a 4.5x for the all-time high for the 24 hours. But here's the kicker, guys. We got a 3.7x within the first 24 hours. You had over an hour to sell at a 3.7x. Okay, so far of Brink's 2 projects that we found where he scouted it that was actually launched. You know, he listed some as not ranked. Okay, so Brink is very particular, and so one of the things about Brink is you can count on he's done his homework and due diligence. So Brink is not going to post a lot of projects. Okay, and you'll realize that when you start doing your volume of launches for the scouts that you want to follow. This is making sense. Give me a thumbs up. Okay, So we looked at K.S.P. We said, okay, K.S.P. posts primarily IDO projects. So you want to look at a lot of his non-IDO projects to see how they go. Brink posts very selective projects, which I think is a good thing, because like he is so in depth on his projects that if he thinks it's good enough to share it, that's worth looking into. Okay. Of the two projects that we could find for Brink right now, one did a 3.7x in the first 24 hours. You had an hour to sell. Another one did a 9% gain, just a 1.1x. So not much. We'll just call that break even. Okay. So you would need a lot more data, to see that. But you could use Brink as a means of, hey, if Brink likes this, I want to take a look. Okay, I want to take a look. Now, if you're at tier 3, would it be a good idea to follow Brink? Maybe not. Why? Brink doesn't have a lot of volume. Not that that's bad, but that would be someone you'd want to manually follow. Like, every morning or every evening or once a week, maybe you just go to the calendar, you type in Brink, and you see what projects he has that are in the works. Okay, here's work X. Okay, in April, here's baby cake, this is April just ended. Here's May. Okay, so Brink's in the process of adding some things to the calendar, and when he likes it, he'll go ahead and list this as ranked. Okay, so to get the most out of your follow feature, you would want to follow someone who has some activity. Why follow someone? And this is not a knock against Brink at all. Okay, man, Brink is rock star. I'm saying from an effective use of your follow feature, if you're tier 3, you wouldn't want to follow someone who doesn't post a lot, because you're not going to get a lot of projects to look at. Why take up that spot when you can just manually click Brink's name and look in the calendar and find the projects yourself? Why waste? I don't want to say waste, but why utilize that spot for someone who doesn't post a lot of projects? Okay. So here's another project that is worth, here's another user it's worth taking a look at. Whoa. Uh-oh. There we go. Okay, so Metaloride. Scouted only. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Okay, let's see. How do I spell Metaloride? M-E-T. Yeah. Okay, I think we got enough of it in there. Okay. So here is a scout that you could look at and say, okay, let's start doing some research on this scout. Okay. This was April. We have a handful of recent projects. Okay. So here's Metaloride. We check out this project right here. Doge Jeet rewards. Okay. We go to the scout and we have, this is profitable over 24 hours. It was profitable over 7 days. Okay. It launched on the 13th of April. Let's go find it over here. Doge Jeet. Okay. So it was some small gains. It had a 24% gain from all-time high. You could have sold a 22% gain. So a 1.2x. Okay. So that's number 1. So you write that one down. In the next project, we have Stable Grow. I think we talked about this on the call. It was profitable over 24 hours, not profitable over 7 days. Stable Grow launched on the 8th. Oh, I went backwards, didn't I? Let's see, Stable Grow. So it had a 1.6x from all-time high, 1.25x. Okay, you had 24 hours to sell it at 1.25x. Okay. Okay, Stable Grow, Doge Jeet, Player Coin. Okay. Okay, this one needs to be looked at. This one probably needs to be looked at as well. Okay. Jump Satoshi. This one's under investigation still, but it has been doing good. But I still get to look into it to verify the gains on this one. It had some pretty massive gains. Just to give you an idea, let's see. It launched on the 25th. Let me pull up the gains for that. It was, oh, I don't have that. It's pretty massive. Basically, the reason that I have this flagged is the Telegram has been shut down, and it's muted, so no one can chat. And then 2 contract screeners, 2 out of 3 contract screeners say it's a rug pull or honeypot. So that's why this one isn't officially on the list. Let's go to another one. This is Lanuna. Okay, this is not profitable for 24 hours. Okay, so you'll be able to go through there and start finding patterns. Okay, this one gets to get looked at, and start finding patterns of projects that you're building your volume of launches. Okay? You're basically back testing. Okay, so when we talk about volume of launchings for yourself, we're talking about paper trading and trading it seriously like you're going to get in it. But you can also do volume of launchings by doing back testing and seeing what the system is for these scouts. Okay, so one way you could do is you could just follow a purple scout. Okay, you can just follow a purple scout and get in everything they say to get it. Not say, but everything that comes across the desk, just go ahead and get in. Is that without knowing the system, is that a good idea? If you think it's a good idea, say yes. If you think it's not a good idea, say no. Totally up to you. It's all your own risk tolerance, your own personal strategy. Okay. Is it a good idea to just blindly follow a purple? Is it a good idea to just blindly follow a red? Now I know everybody would say no to this. I know without a doubt. If I said, hey, would you follow a red? People would be like, no. The thing is, you don't actually know how good the reds are or not until you do a volume of launches, until you paper trade, until you back test, okay? Because just based on the red systems, the red could have home runs and grand slams. The reds could be the Babe Ruths, okay? Home run records, but also strikeout records. And when that happens, their score is going to be lower. Okay, there could be beiges. Okay, there could be beiges that outperform purples because when they connect, it's a grand slam and you're looking at a 5x, 10x, 20x. Okay, but they're willing to lose 5, 6, 7 times in a row to hit that next 5x, 10x, 20x. Okay, that's why money management is so important. Okay, so it's less, we're still really early in this development phase. And over time, as people get better with their scouting, as people get better with the projects, they will start seeing different results. And you're going to see people's ranks change and people are going to get better. They're going to adapt. They're going to grow. But the longer we go, the more you understand and see like, okay, this is what you really want to look for. Just like when you look at a project. If I said, hey, get in this project, some people are just going to jump in. Other people are going to say, hey, let me look at it myself. You got to do the same thing with scouts. Okay? Just because they're a green, just because they're a red does not mean anything. You got to look at the numbers that they're putting up on paper, the data, the actual data. Okay. Now, someone had mentioned, would they follow me? I would not recommend if you have, if you're tier 4, yeah, of course, follow me because you're not taking up a spot. If you're tier 3, right now, I don't think it's worth following me. I think it's better for you to follow someone like Gordon Gecko or follow like Metal Ride, maybe even Captain Kurt. Do your volume of launches, do your K.S.P to find one that works best for you. Here's the reason why I wouldn't follow me right now. So when I first got into this game, I didn't realize the implications of some of the projects. What I mean by that is I basically found that really good projects were IDOs. Okay. I didn't really know the implications of that. I didn't know that if I post an IDO on the platform, not very many people are going to be able to get into it. And so I stopped scouting because like I realized that IDOs were the way to go. That's what I did at the beginning. And I was like, wait a second, that's not providing value. Okay. So then over time, I've been developing my criteria of what I'm looking for projects, my, volume of launches, like I talk about, and my K.S.P, like I talk about, the things that I'm sharing, like that's what I'm personally doing. Okay. And so, yeah, there will be a day where I'm like, hey guys, look, this is what I found out. This is what I've discovered. Look at the 100 projects that I've documented. This is why I do this strategy. This is my system. If you want to follow it, follow it. Today is not the day. Okay. So I have no problem saying, follow someone else if you only have one. Follow me if you want to see the progression, but follow someone else if you only have one person to follow. If that makes sense, give me a thumbs up. Because like I said, I kind of fall in the category of Brink right now. I'm very selective with the projects I'm adding to the calendar. And I wouldn't want you to waste, I wouldn't want you to waste your follow on me if you only have one. Okay, it just doesn't make sense. Okay, so just do the manual. Just do the manual. Just type in my name and you'll see the projects that I've been messing around with. Okay, and that's how you'll be able to do that. Okay, does anybody have any other ideas on who to follow, how to follow, a strategy on what to look for, and things like that you want to share? A thought that you want to kick around, an idea that you have. Absolutely. Yeah. So Metal Rad, the man himself. Hey, brother, I hope you're doing well. So he is saying he would niche down. Okay. So there's a handful of ways you could do that. He could niche down, meaning he could find someone who posts games exclusively and pre-sales exclusively, pre-sale gaming exclusively. Okay. Or he would follow people, and the only reason he would look at that project is if it's gaming and pre-sales. Like this is his niche. Okay. From a marketing perspective, you've heard the term of riches and niches. This is the same thing. When I first came onto the platform, I was posting IDO games because like I love the gaming side. I saw IDOs as really good projects. And then I learned that for me personally, I didn't feel right about just adding IDOs to the calendar because no one could get in them. And so I just thought I'd find a different game to play, So I can relate to, what Metal Rad is saying about, gaming and pre-sales. So that's one way to do it. Okay. So you could start finding scouts that solely focus on certain niches. Okay. So we could look at gaming. And we could do pre-sales. Okay. And we could start seeing who falls in this category of gaming pre-sales. Okay. We got Hellstrom. Okay. How'd this project do? Oh, hey, 24 hours. Hey, profitable over 7 days. Okay. If you want to focus on gaming projects, this is something you'd want to niche down. Okay. Hellstrom, he posted a gaming project. It was a pre-sale. Okay. Let me document this. Let me go back and let me find another project. Rolling Ball. Lorraine 100X. Let's see what happens. Okay. This one needs to be looked at. Oh, I need to click. It needs to be launched. My bad. Here we go. Has launched. Okay. Golden Apes. Captain Kurt. Okay. Brink was a veteran on this. This is a project we talked about on Better Trading Club. Project ended up not doing good, unfortunately, but it is what it is. Next up, Flash Miner. That was K Better. Meta Chow. Captain Kurt. Okay. Not profitable over 24 hours, not profitable over 7 days. Pet Wars. Loannis. Click on this thing. Okay. Profitable over 24 hours. And we don't have 7 days yet. Okay. This is still fresh. Petaverse. Profitable over 24 hours, profitable over 7 days. Now, if you had one follow feature, I would not recommend a yellow, simply because you'd want to at least follow a color. because they may have just posted one project and they never posted again. And like you got your follow feature on someone who may never post again. You know, don't want to waste that. So he has scouted 3 projects total. Okay. So you wouldn't necessarily want to do it on that person. Now you may want to watch them to see when they move out of yellow and go into beige and see how frequently they're posting, but you would want to get the most out of the follow feature if you just have one. Okay. Dragon, the Dragon Fury, Captain Kurt. This project's under investigation still. Odyssey, LDN 100X. Okay, this was not profitable over 24 hours. Okay, so that's how you could do that. You could literally start getting together these different types of projects. So let's say we want to do utility. Let's see how this goes. So now we're in a different pool. Okay, so we have Banana Task Force, LDN 100X, profitable over 24 hours and 7 days. This was a really good project. This one had some pretty big gains. Obsidian, posted by Captain Kurt, profitable over 24 hours, not profitable over 7 days. And of course, I think I said this, but I think you guys know this. You want to look more than just was it profitable or not. You want to know the gains. Does anyone know why you would want to know the gains on these projects? Either unmute or type it in the chat. Okay, tax. Yep, tax is one of the things. One of the reasons why you'd want to know the gains. What's another reason why? Statistically, you need to have the data to know what money management to run. If you've been following really closely, you know a lot of the projects I bring up easily click in 1.4 to 1.6x consistently. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's a type of game, maybe it's the type of projects that they are, but consistently, the projects that I'm attracted to close out at one point, or sorry, not close out, but price turns at 1.4 to 1.6x. Okay. The reason you need to know the data behind these projects, that's how you got to determine your money management. If every one of the Scouts projects tanks after 60% gain, how are you going to get a 2x? It's just not possible. I mean, crossing our fingers and hoping for the best is not a strategy. That's not the kind of system we want to create, guys. Okay, crossing our fingers and hoping for the best is not a strategy. Okay, we're looking for the exceptions. Okay, we're not. I'm sorry, we're looking for the rule, not the exception. Okay, we don't want to be exception hunters. We don't want to be like, well, if I was a scout and I posted 20 projects and every one of them did a 1.5x, and all of a sudden I got one that did a 5x, you better not follow me because you expect to get a 5x again. Okay, that's called exception hunting, and that's not going to work for you. You would follow me because I consistently get 1.5s day in, day out. That's why. Okay, that's why it's super important that that you get to know the data behind these scouts. You get to know the data behind these behind the results. Okay, because you can craft your money management that way. Same thing with Rico. We'll go back to Rico. Okay, Rico is the hidden gem, the Rico Roughnecks. Okay, seriously, this is not a bad strategy. The only way you could win with Rico's strategy, if you didn't hear Rico, the example, the Rico strategy is, let's say Rico is a red scout. You would never follow Rico, okay? But all of a sudden, you start seeing Rico as scout of the week. Why? Because he gets 20x, 30x gains. And you follow Rico because he gets 20x, 30x gains, and you lose one, and you lose another, and you lose another, and you lose another. And you're frustrated because, like, you picked Rico because he's a rock star. He's scout of the week, and he gets 30x, 20x gains, and you've just lost 4 in a row. If you didn't do your K.S.P, you don't realize. If you didn't do your volume of launches, to determine your KSP. You don't realize that Rico loses 9 out of 10, but on the 10th one, it's a freaking grand slam, and he gets 20 to 30x time and time again. And in order for you to have a seat at the table, to get that 20 or 30x, you gotta get the losses. Now let's turn it around. Let's say you happen to follow Rico, and the very first position you get in goes for 30x. You think to yourself, you're going to be a millionaire by the end of the year because Rico is going to bring you to the promised land. And then Rico loses the second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one, sixth one, seventh one, eighth one, and then you quit because you're tired of losing the money. And then guess what? The ninth one, Rico knocks it out of the park again because his system is 9 losses to 1 win, okay? 9 losses to get the 1 win. That's Rico's system. Rico can make $1 million doing that strategy if he sticks to his money management plan. You can do the same thing, but you got to know the system. Okay. Was this helpful? This deep dive into understanding the strategy of who to follow and who to work with. Helpful. Perfect. Justin said, if your strategy is RIPFT 20% or RIP 80%, you may want to understand your gains to ensure it fits within your model. What gains do you require to reach those targets? Another reason I'd want to track scout gain average. Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, there's so many, I don't want to say nuances, but there's so much depth into money management. You know, we could talk about strictly just RIP, recoup investment and profit, or we could talk about RIPFT, you know, recoup investment, profit, and live in free tokens. You know, that also plays into your strategy, but you must know the gains of the scouts you follow in order to execute these strategies. Okay, you just can't do it blindly. You're going to be frustrated if you do it blindly. It takes a little bit of homework. Okay, it takes a little bit of homework, but it's okay because we're professionals. We're the Rico Roughnecks. You know, we're not afraid to get our hands dirty. we're willing to put in the work. Okay. So yeah, if this was helpful, go ahead and drop in Telegram, you know, what your biggest takeaway was, you know, from today's call. And here's my vision long term is, you know, personally, I want to create some systems where people can see like, okay, this is what Ryan provides. Like this is what he does. And so like just compiling the information I've been sharing over the last handful of weeks. And so like when someone does follow me, they know that they're following a system that they can count on and not just a scout based on a certain color-coded ranking. Okay. So with that being said, we are at the top of the hour, actually a couple minutes over. But since we're over just a little bit, if anybody has any questions, you know, feel free to ask. I'll be more than glad to answer them. Otherwise, we're gonna wrap up. But yeah, if the call was helpful today, go ahead and drop it in Telegram. You know, sharing with everybody what your biggest takeaway was. I enjoyed, you know, talking about this. I like numbers. I like data because, you know, math works out. You know, I mean, I can appreciate that. You know, math doesn't make mistakes. It's consistent. It's constant, and I have appreciation for that. So. All right, well, looks like no questions today. So go ahead and tune in tomorrow. Phyllis is going to be with us tomorrow. She does a fantastic job. And with that, I'll end like my mentor always said, life can be short. So for those that you care and love, let them know you care and love them. And I appreciate you guys so much for being here, part of the Better community. We're doing some amazing things. And I am really excited as the days, weeks, and months go on and where we're all going to be 30 days from now, 60 days from now, 90 days from now. You're here at the right place. You're taking notes. You're along for the journey, and I'm excited for what we're creating together. So with that being said, I will see you guys in Telegram. I'll see you in Discord. And until next time, bye for now.